What is this?
Hello everybody and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Ash and I'm joined by Rosie.
Hello everyone.
And we are here to talk all about Forspoken. Woo, which is very exciting. I got my hands on a little version of the game recently and I'm here to tell you about my experiences with it, what fun there is to be had, how magical it is, and we're going to dive straight in. I got 5 points for you, Rosie. 5 of them.
I'm excited.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them.
1, 2, 3. Oh my god, that's loads.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I said 3. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, and that's 5.
Well, we'll start with the lowest one, so it doesn't get too scary, which is
Thank you.
that this is a high fantasy story. The magic is palpable in the veins of this game. It is flowing through in big arcing colours and formations. It's gorgeous. Like, I love myself a good deep dive into fantasy lore, and this is very much Dungeons and Dragons and all the bits in between, you know?
Okay, so what kind of just because when you said Dungeons and Dragons, is there like loads of magical creatures and things? Because from what I remember, there's been dragons that I've seen fighting in trailers and things like that, but what other kind of magical creatures are there, or am I like jumping ahead to a next point?
Well, we'll get to those because they're in the combat. I think I kind of want to introduce what the story is first.
Oh yes, please do.
So this is a story about Frey Holland, who is transported from New York to Athia, a once beautiful land ravaged by the Break. Now, about those mystical creatures that you're asking about, the Break is basically savaging all the creatures in the land and turning them into horrible monsters. So there's all these gorgeous little creatures around. There is loads and loads of magical monsters, but because they've got the Break in them, it's made them very aggressive and savage and snarling little creeps that are in the landscape that you've got to destroy. So people turn into Break zombies if they're affected by it, and there's a lot of combat against these kind of they're like wolfy, red pandery. I don't know, like,
I love red pandas.
they're adorable.
Oh,
Like, there's this great scene where you walk up to one, you're like, oh, adorable, and then it turns around and all of its chest is just rib cages poking out, so you're like, ah!
Oh my god.
So it's got a great sense of story and narrative in this kind of plagued setting with the Break coming through, and it's called that because Frey says everything's broken, so hence it is the Break that is affecting them, and there's that sense of Frey's sense of humour and Frey's very much New York upbringing. New York.
I was going to ask as well. Through. So is Frey the only like living, well, not even living, but the only element of the game that's come from New York, if you know what I mean? There's not been like, you know, a New York cat or like, you know, something that we know that it's just her that's been brought in.
So it's just her that's been brought in. She's been transported through this portal, and as she's come through, she's been bonded with this Cuff, who, from the bit that I saw, I think was in New York, but is actually from Athia. So like, when she came through, it attached to her arm. She calls it Cuff, but he wants to be called Vambrace. As you would.
Okay.
And these guys banter each other off the whole time, and that's where her magical powers come from, as well as this like telepathic communication with someone or something that can reveal more about the land around her that she doesn't know. So it's very good for kind of using it as like a codex and a partner and for all your magical stuff. Like, Cuff is good. Cuff has got it going on. But as much as the landscape is covered with all the Break, you also have this main hub city called Sepul, which is full of people who haven't been affected, who are just like normal, milling around, like playing their little bard tunes and going to the tavern. There's all sorts of normality in there of like a medieval setting. And then you go outside and it's crazy, magical, dragons flying down, beasts around.
Oh, that does sound cool.
It's very cool. And I think talking about all of the monsters is probably good to go on to point number 2, which is the combat. Now, combat is a big part of the Forspoken experience, and all of it is led by these magical abilities that Frey has. I only experienced purple magic in the little hands-on that we did. But there will be, I think, red and green as well. Like, there's 2 other colours that are going to be
So they
involved.
literally just called purple and green and red magic?
As far as I'm aware, I think that they are kind of tied to different places. So, and they are different colours that come through as well. So the purple one is the one that she has, and it's very much natural leaning. So what I was doing was like conjuring roots from the ground to grab people, or throwing rocks at people, or making massive rock walls appear, which was very satisfying.
That is very good. that does sound cool.
So to tell you how you control it, it's basically all in the like R1, R2 and L1, L2. R1 being how you select a magic, R2 being how you deploy it, and then L1 being how you select a magic, and L2 how you deploy it for support, basically. So one is like attack and one is support. And the support magic is like binding people or healing yourself or doing other bits and pieces, or like cleansing, like status build up, that sort of thing. You can have all those sort of abilities. And then your attacks are, you know, throwing the rocks, or scattershot is my favourite because you just hold it down the whole time and it keeps on throwing little rocks, and then it builds up a big one at the end that you can just bosh someone with. So it is really satisfying. And to make your attack stronger, there's a lot of like exploration encouraged. So you're trying to create a build for Frey as well. And you can upgrade your cloak and you can get necklaces. And also, which I just think is a really nice touch, you can paint your nails.
Oh, okay, that's really nice.
So there's this whole thing about how the Tantas, who are the benevolent matriarchs of the land that have been affected by the break and are also going a bit crazy, and you're going to have to like sort them out basically. Their magic is very potent in the lands because they're basically their territories. And there's this book on how to paint your nails to like channel these different energies that the Tantas have. So you find different designs as you go through, and then you can like adorn your nails with them if you have the right ingredients to like break down and put on. Which is just adorable, I think. Like, it's quite cool.
It's like, I like how it's relatable, but at least I might have completely missed something out, but I've never seen magic kind of be influenced by the colour of your nails.
Yeah.
But I really like that concept. I think it's really cool, especially because magic's all in the hands and stuff as well. So you get a little bit more powerful with your nails, a bit more pizzazz to it.
Imagine the manicures that are going to come out of this. The Forspoken manicures, baby. I'm here for it. I want to see it. Also in combat, you're using your cuff for magic and also to protect you. So that kind of gives a nice like in-game reason for you to be able to repel massive attacks from creatures and stuff. But you can also use him to scan the environment around you, and you can do this in the middle of a battle to highlight enemy weak points. So you zoom in and kind of see who they are, what they are, and what's the best way to go against them. So you can think quite strategically with all of this, which is super duper satisfying. So that was like 3 dupers. Like that's
how super duper it is.
It's mega duper satisfying. And all of this ties in with this inherent flow magical parkour as well, which you can use for dodging and running, but I will get onto that later. Because first, number 3, I want to tell you about the balance challenge level, because I think it's a really well-balanced game in figuring out how tough something is, or if you need to take a step back or coming back later. My experience in this was playing all the way up until the first like mega story boss, which was Tanta Sila. So one of the, again, once benevolent matriarchs that have taken over the land with their break brain and gone a little bit mad, and then you've got to take her down. This was the Tanta of Strength. Now, the build that I was using in this, oh my goodness, I forgot to go and pick up my health stuff, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to have a little go at the battle and see if I can get through. And I managed to do it by the skin of my teeth and get all the way through this section where she was like summoning enemies to help her and jumping in across the battleground. It was really good. I was really satisfied with the boss battle. But she goes into like a phase 2, which is outside. Aww. And it loaded, and I had like 2 millimeters of health, no health potions. So basically had to do it with 1 or 2 hits max the whole way through because my cuff was going to break. Which happens, and then you have to wait for it to recharge up, because if you take a hit when he's broken, you'll die.
Oh, so sorry, is the cuff sort of your health then, or?
Yeah. So things basically ping off it, and that's like your protection. And then if he depletes, you're like, oh no, cuff.
Then you're just bone and skin again.
Yeah, and then she absolutely savaged me so many times. But I didn't want to leave it. I wanted to finish it, and I managed to do like a full run. With the 1 or 2 hits and just being really careful with it. And this was really tough, even for the bunch of like game people that were there playing it with me, you know, where all of us were like, woof, that was a nice tasty challenge. But there's ways of like lowering the difficulty or moving things around if you are struggling. But it was really just good, nice. Yes, I feel like
a good, really satisfying,
like a crunchy moment.
Yeah.
The challenge level is also kind of reflected in the different things you can do in Athia as well, because the whole open world is just boundless. It goes on and on and on, and there's so many things you can do in it that are testing you and upgrading you and are worth seeking out, like underground labyrinths, which are basically combat challenges where you go underground, you have to fight a really tough room of enemies, and there's usually a big one at the end that you have to take down. And you get loads of great like resources and goodies, and you're treated to like a little bit of lore at the end as well in this gorgeous massive room, and there's a few of those to pick out and find. As well as massive combat challenges against break beasts, which again are the mythical monsters that we were talking about, which are these gigantic monsters that have been overtaken with break and are really, really tough, and you've got to figure out your best ways of approaching these, and maybe you'll need to go and come back and level up. There's loads of really interesting videos that Forspoken have put out about these sort of things as well, like exploring Athia and the magic that's in it, which I think are well worth watching. And the PlayStation blog has some really neat write-ups as well, which I'm just going to plug because I was enjoying reading them. Number 4, whilst we're talking about the open world, I'm going to make that its own point in itself as well.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, nice little segue, a segue. And I just want to shout out the other kind of things you can do that are good and fun and nice little side activities that come with an open world. So there are monuments which allow Frey to get stronger with upgrades. You basically just have to parkour up to them, figure out a way to smash all the rock off it and restore it to what it once was. And they have a little bit of Tanta magic in them that then you can channel into yourself. You can find founts of blessing to learn new magical skills, where you just jump in, have this lovely little watery moment, and you can upgrade your spells, which you have plenty of, by the way, and can choose your skill path through them to upgrade Frey in a way that suits you and your playstyle. From those, there are spellcraft challenges where when you own a specific spell, you can put a spellcraft challenge onto it by finding like an old book that you can read. And in the process of doing that, you'll then have like a little pop-up on screen, which is, for example, climb to a certain height, being 500 meters. And if you do that, then you'll upgrade that kind of ability and get more goodies from it. And it'll be a bit more useful to you because you become a master of it and a bit more proficient in it. So it's very useful. And it's very thoughtful in the way that the magic works as well. You can also take photographs because Frey still has her phone in Athia, which I just love. She's got this smartphone that she's carrying around with her, and you can go to photo points and just take pictures, which I think is so nice. Like, I had a great time taking a little picture of Tanta Sila's mountain horror show because it was like this scary looking background, and you're just like, oh, I'll take a nice picture of the top.
Yeah,
like beautiful, which is really satisfying.
Upload that one to social media when you get home.
Yeah, exactly. And doing it unlocks different things in photo mode for you as well. So you can take your little picture and you can show it to the children in Sepal and be like, look, I've been outside. Do you want to see? And then you'll be able to do more things in your own photo mode.
Oh,
which
that's
is
cool.
You know, another nice little link.
Encouraging you to take more pictures.
Yes. I liked Partha in the Shady Tree as well, which is the pub where you just roll a bone. You just roll a bone in a cup. It's like carved like a dice, and if you get a symbol on it, then you get a little battle bonus. So it's not forever, but it's a little buff that you have for a while.
A little roll the bone bar.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I do want to mention in this section that I didn't get to experience because of the section that we did, which was very kind of story focused and exploring Tanta Sila's relevance, which I don't want to go too much into because I think people will enjoy uncovering all of the story beats for themselves. But the one thing that I didn't get to do, which I was desperate to see, were the Tanta familiars. And these are little magical cats you can find.
Oh, Ash, I'm so sorry you haven't seen them yet.
I will see them. I will.
I will make sure I do.
But they are gorgeous little winged babies that you can find, and you have to chase after them and basically like hunt them down. And once you complete that challenge, they go to the refuges, which are like your safe zones that you can sleep in. And they live in there, so you can go visit them and see them, and the little cats are with you. Because Frey loves cats, which is really nice. Like when the chapter that we started in, you can go through the archive, which is so interesting. I love a good bit of lore in a game, and there's so much good lore in this one. But there's a little bit about her cat in there as well. Homer, adorable, so good. Now, to finish off, before I get into the cat content too deeply, I just kind of want to finish off on the inherent magicalness of Forspoken and the magical parkour in particular, because this is where the game shines.
Yeah, I really want to hear about the parkour elements to it.
Yes, so it's quite simple. It's very simple, actually. You just hold a button down whilst you're running and you activate your magical parkour, and you can run as far as you want until your stamina runs out, and then you'll need to take a break. But there are loads of different ways you can upgrade your magical parkour as you go through to unlock different abilities that then mean if you string together certain sequences really well, you don't need to use up your stamina, so you can go for ages and ages and ages, perhaps endlessly if you do it right. And it's just so fluid. Like the flow of it is so good. Like you just run in and skip in, you run up walls, you jump off them, you jump onto things, you use it in battle for dodging, and it really feels like you're really in control and you're really adept at your craft. Frey just knows what she's doing, which is really nice. It doesn't feel like your agency's taken away by it, if you know what I mean. Like it feels like you're directing her and jumping her around and that she's handling it, but it's all in your hands to get it right and to be able to string these combos together to be able to make it last as long as you want it to as well. But yeah, because the open world is so big and has so many different areas to it as well, like I think there's 4 different domains. I just saw the one, but I think there's 4 different ones that you can see or that have like tantas attached to them. It's so good to have something where you can speed through it and like really feel like you're making progress and jumping over things and can see everything as you go, because you're not just fast traveling, like you're seeing everything. But you can fast travel as well if you want to. But yeah, there's everything on Forspoken that I have just blurted at you, Rosie. So thank you for taking it in.
No, thank you for telling me about it. You've got me so invested in the magical world now. I mean, immediately, like when you were talking about the whole Dungeons and Dragons, I was, the magical creatures. Okay, tell me about this. So it sounds really cool, and thank you very much for telling me about it.
Yes, it's been great fun playing it and coming back and talking about it. I hope you guys enjoy it when it comes out on the 24th of January on PS5 2023, for those wondering and thinking we're going back in time, maybe, I don't know, but it's 2023. So yes, have a little look out for that. I'm sure we'll have more content coming out very soon, so pretty please come back for more. pretty please come back for more very soon, and we'll see you again shortly. Thank you for watching. Bye all. Bye. PlayStation